How does vision work? Vision is one of our 5 senses. Can you name the others? Hearing, the sense of taste, the sense of smell, and the sense of touch. Vision is king. Maybe as much as 2/3 of our brain is used for vision and visual processing. 20% of the brain is used exclusively for vision, but 40% is used for vision, but maybe also other sensory integration involving touch, movement, attention, spatial navigation. When light enters the eye, it is the lens that focuses that light onto the back of our eye where the retina is, and it also inverts the image, turns it upside down. Here is another view. The lens is what bends the light to focus it on the back of the eye where the retina is, and you can see the retina there. It is the first point of the central nervous system that receives information about light that enables us to see. So yes, the retina is part of your central nervous system. Some vision problems can be corrected with glasses to make up for problems with how the lens focuses the light on the retina. For example, nearsightedness, also called myopia, occurs when the lens incorrectly focuses the light in front of the retina rather than on the retina. If you have myopia or nearsightedness, you can see objects that are close to you, such as words on a page held up next to your face, but you have trouble seeing things far away, such as this stop sign. Farsightedness, or hyperopia, occurs when the lens incorrectly focuses the light behind the retina instead of right up on it. When you have farsightedness or hyperopia, you can't see things that are close to your face, close to your eyes, but you can see things that are far away. One of the normal processes of aging is becoming more farsighted. This is referred to as presbyopia. After age 40, most of us need vision correction if we haven't needed it before. The lens hardens as we age and focuses the light behind the retina rather than on the retina. When you have presbyopia, you may find yourself moving text farther away from you to get the letters to look clearer. We can see because of the retina, which contains 150 million cells that are photoreceptors. These are cells that can transform light into a neural signal. The photoreceptor cells in the retina include cones, which are responsible for the most precise vision, as well as color vision, and rods, which are responsible for our being able to see shades of gray. The retina is part of our central nervous system, which also includes the brain and the spinal cord. The sequence of events that occurs during vision is as follows. Light enters the pupil, is bent by the lens, is received by the rods and the cones, and these cells transform the light information into a neural signal, which then is relayed to the bipolar cells and also later on to the ganglion cells, which then relay the information to the optic nerve, and the optic nerve carries the information into our brain or cortex. Visual acuity refers to the sharpness or clarity of vision. Your vision for information that you see directly in front of you has the highest level of acuity because it is processed by the fovea, which is the part of the retina that has many more cones than rods. Your vision for information away from the center of vision on either side has less visual acuity because it is processed by the areas of the retina that have far more rods than cones. One form of vision loss is caused by the cells in the center of the retina, also called the fovea, degenerating. This leads to a blind spot in the center of vision. When you move your eyes around, you consistently see a dark area in the center of wherever you're looking. This is called macular degeneration. It is the most common cause of vision loss in older adults. Another condition that causes vision loss is retinitis pigmentosa, which leaves one with tunnel vision. One can see what is at the center of vision, but is blind to information around the center of vision due to the gradual degeneration of rods. The condition is usually progressive, and that means it gets worse over time. It's caused by genetics. There may be as many as 50 genes that are associated with inherited forms of retinitis pigmentosa. It infects about 1 in 4,000 people. Once light is transformed into a neural signal and relayed to the brain, it takes a complex journey to the occipital area. Information at the center of your visual field enters each eye and is transferred in an ipsilateral pathway. So that means that information at the center of vision entering the left eye is relayed to the left hemisphere. Information at the center of vision entering the right eye is also relayed to the right hemisphere, the ipsilateral side. Ipsilateral means same side. Once light is transformed into a neural signal and relayed to the brain, it takes a complex journey to the occipital area. Information at the center of your visual field enters each eye and is transferred in an ipsilateral pathway. So that means that information at the center of vision entering the left eye is relayed to the left hemisphere. Information at the center of vision entering the right eye is also relayed to the right hemisphere, the ipsilateral side. Ipsilateral means same side. Your peripheral vision follows a contralateral path to the occipital lobe. This means that information at the far left of your visual field is relayed to the right hemisphere, and information at the far right of your visual field is relayed to the left hemisphere. Contralateral means opposite side. When someone goes to the eye doctor with total or partial blindness in some part of the visual field, because of the organization of the visual system, the doctor can begin to track down the possible causes for the blindness. If there is blindness just in one eye, it can mean that there is damage to the optic nerve leading from that eye into the brain. The damage may be an injury, a degenerating disease, or a brain tumor pressing on that area. If there is blindness in the far left and the far right halves of the visual field, there is likely damage to the optic chiasm, which is the area of the visual pathway where information crosses to the opposite hemisphere. Damage to the optic chiasm knocks out the contralateral pathways of vision. You can also get damage to the area of the optic chiasm that affects just one side. One contralateral pathway is knocked out, but the other remains intact. In the diagram, the lesion labeled number 3 would prevent information coming into the right eye being transferred to the left hemisphere, leaving one with blindness in the left visual field of the right eye only. There are more complex patterns of damage and blindness that have been identified. These will not be covered on quizzes or exams. However, just knowing that they exist might give you a greater awareness of the expertise of our eye doctors. Their job is much more complex than some may think. That's all for now.